see? It is the cleanest of clean finishes from the best on the planet.
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
Liverpool, the champions of Europe, are top of the world.
The biggest interviews.
That such a great spectacle is ruined by such thuggish behavior.
And all the analysis right here.
He's the one player that has the arrogance to think that he can play in any stadium in the world and any pitch in the world in front of any player in the world and take them on.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
If you love sport, you'll love our Friday editions of ZiFM Sport. We build up to the weekend preview, big matches, big events the world over, and we get to talk them down, strip them down, analyze them for you together with Barry Menandi in the studio. Our producer is Sean Tafirenyika. My name is Mike Madoda, and what a great show we've got lined up for you. We started home with new Warriors coach Zdravko Logarušić, who went on a charm offensive as he spoke for the first time about his plans and vision for the national team, which include quick, direct attacking football. We get to discuss what approach is best suited for the current crop of Warriors and if Loga will have enough time in his preps to instill his philosophy.
Our weekend preview in international sport is headlined by the NBA All-Star Weekend, which tips off tonight with the All-Star Celebrity Game and NBA Rising Stars before the Skills Challenge tomorrow. The festivities will wrap up with the power-packed All-Star Game where Team LeBron goes up against Team Giannis in Chicago. In Around the World in 60, Matt Kuchar was in a class of his own on the first day of the Genesis Invitational as both Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy enjoyed encouraging openings. As the Silver Arrows, Mercedes have launched the car on which their hopes of maintaining their unprecedented sequence of Formula One success in 2020 rests. And in Super Rugby, the Rebels and Crusaders kicked off the weekend action with impressive wins over the Waratahs and Blues, respectively.
The second half of the show is all about football, and the beautiful game will kick off in Germany tonight, where Borussia Dortmund welcome Eintracht Frankfurt to the Westfalenstadion, looking to get back to winning ways in the Bundesliga. In Spain, Barcelona will face a major challenge in La Liga tomorrow, hosting Inform Getafe in a clash between second and third. In Italy, the intriguing title race serves up another potentially explosive clash when Romelu Lukaku's league-leading Inter Milan visit Ciro Immobile's third-place Lazio on Sunday. And in England, Arsenal go up against Newcastle on Sunday in one of the 5 matches on the Premier League schedule this week. And this is ZiFM Sport. Don't forget, it's not just sport, it's also about the entertainment. Coming up, we've got the power play, and a bit later on, we'll be concluding the story of Craig David in our play of the day. Don't miss out also on the Polenta Nutri-Active Instant Porridge Daily Sports Trivia. You want to take part in that? Send in your hashtags starting now.
The Warriors, the Chevrons, the Cheetahs, the Mighty Warriors, and the Sables. From the pool to the track to the field, we are Team Zimbabwe. The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis.
New Warriors coach Zdravko Logarušić, now affectionately known as Loga, who embarked on a charm offensive at his official unveiling yesterday, says he'll teach Zimbabwean players how to play football without the ball at their feet. The Croat, who has a decade of experience in African football, says this is a common weakness he has observed on the continent. Hence, his emphasis will be on proving the tactical awareness of the Warriors.
In my experience in Africa since I'm here, I couldn't teach them skill. I couldn't teach them dribbling. I couldn't teach them how to take a shot or how to make a cross. But I can improve their game without ball. That's the key thing. The game without ball. Africans, they are gifted. I'm not saying now Zimbabweans are gifted. Most of African players, they are gifted. They have gift from God because they play football on the street. They have skill, they have speed, they have stamina, they have flexibility. But let's improve the game without ball. If I'll improve the game without ball 10% on one player, 10% on the other player, that means in the 10 players, I have a 1 player extra. That means let's improve tactically a bit. Let's improve. I'm not asking so much. individual tactic, group tactic, team tactic. If I improve even 10%, 15%, result must be better with talents which we have here. Zimbabwe players, what I realized till now, or what I checked and everything what I can find. They are quick, flexibility, skill. For sure will not go with some 1,000 crosses there because we haven't got big strikers which will do this and that. And they like to play football. But what I like to play, usually what I like to play, try to attack unorganized defense. And I think Zimbabwe, they have players from the moment when they get the ball, let's finish action in 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds. We have speed, we have skill, we have knowledge. Without so much tiki-taka, let's play quick football, aggressive football.
We have speed, we have skill, we have knowledge. I'm not sure he was talking of the mental type or knowledge, Musena, but either way, we have
Nice.
knowledge. I love this guy, guys. I absolutely love Zdravko Logarušić. I know he hasn't got to work. We haven't kicked a football in anger, but for me, he is saying all the right things, Barry. He has come from a period where we judged him on the words that he said, or he was alleged to have said, to the Ghanaian press. We must judge him also by the philosophy that he's so eloquently putting out.
Yeah, look, he's certainly saying the right things. And I'm going to put a provisor here.
Why do I detect a hint of cynicism, of skepticism from you, Barry?
There's no cynicism. It's just it's skepticism from the perspective that you speak about the generality of African players, and then you say exactly the same things about Zimbabwean players. And for me, I would agree on all the parameters he spoke about Zimbabwean players except speed. We're not the fastest. If you look at it, our fastest player in the squad is Talan Chawapiwa. He doesn't have frightening pace. So for me, it's that element perhaps he tried to assign to our team, but certainly skillfulness, the ability on the ball, we definitely have that. So just from that standpoint, I have struggles. He speaks well, and that's why probably he's been getting assignments with big clubs in big jobs in Africa. I think in an interview room, my God, he will blow your socks off. But it's on the green grass that we need him to work.
Yeah, it's on the green grass that we need him to work. We want to hear from you guys your thoughts on Loga's philosophy. He's come out and he has been poignant. He says that the Warriors need to play quick, direct and attacking football. He believes that we have the material, we have the players that can effect his philosophy successfully. And he's talking about 10% margins per player, 10% margins per department, 10% margin for the team,
brilliant.
and possibly improve the output of the team. Get in touch with us on WhatsApp 0731-168-045. The number again 0731-168-045. Your thoughts, your views will enrich our discussion. Now we're pleased to be joined by Simba Jenna, one of our analysts and pundits here at ZiFM Sport. And Simba, you've just heard what Logarušić is talking about, and he's come out broad brush, like Barry said, talking about African football. But when you take a look at it, you can't argue against the fact that when African teams have gone to global tournaments, be it the Olympics or the World Cup, we have been found short tactically. Yes. Our players don't have the tactical astuteness and tactical awareness that our European and our South American counterparts show. And so for me, to be honest, I'm excited because I've never heard any other coach that's come in before talk in that manner about the Warriors and say, listen, hang on, I do appreciate you got the gifts of a Kamabiliet. Yes. I do appreciate that you've got the goals of a Knowledge Musona. You've got the talents of a teenage Khadebe. But what I need to do is refine them in other areas that are not necessarily their talent or their ability.
Technical, yeah. And I get where you're getting excited about it, because even when I was listening in yesterday into the show, and when you had the more of the length of the interview, I could almost see the two of you nodding.
Are you a
away.
believer?
I could almost see you beginning to shout some amens in there.
Has he turned you into a believer?
Not yet. Not yet. And I'll tell you what, I think
you're like Barry,
said,
you're waiting for it to be played on the green grass.
A lot of what he says makes a lot of good sense. Yeah? And I like the fact that he hasn't then gone gung-ho and said, I was going to change everything. He's spoken about the 10% margins, which is fair enough and fine. The only issue is, and you've mentioned this before, the national team level is not the level at which to be changing certain things. So I'm wondering.
But I don't think he's talking about change, Simba. He's talking about refinement.
Yes.
That's why he's talking about 10% margins.
Yes.
Because it's about refining, about just getting the marginal improvement from a player, from a defensive unit, from a creative unit. You know, the one thing which he mentioned, you know, and I saw you nod your head, Barry. Don't deny it. I saw you nod your head.
Are you selling me out?
You were impressed.
I hate you.
When he talked about the fact that we need to attack when the other team is disorganized.
I like that.
Why?
Yes.
Because we don't have some of the physical attributes that would complement, for example, a game of width where we are bombing in the crosses, etc. Look at our attackers.
Yeah.
Kamabilit, midget, Knowledge Msona. Well, slightly taller than a midget, but they're small guys.
Yeah. And what? That's why I gave I qualified my statement by saying that I felt that perhaps he just assigned all of the attributes he gave to Africa back to Zimbabwe. Now, I nodded my head when he talked about the fact that we need to attack teams when they're disorganized.
Vigorously.
Michael. Vigorously, 100%. I nodded my head vigorously when he said that, because that is the opportune time. Now, there he's not talking about speed, he's talking about a quick transition. Now, you don't necessarily need frightening pace and say that our players have speed for that. That you can certainly teach. Where I'm agreeing with Sims is the fact that, remember, any national team probably has 4 days, maximum 5, and with ZiFM, no, let's not talk about 5 days. We're talking 3 to 4 days to prepare for an assignment, and then the Algeria assignment is going to be 3 to 4 days. We get into game mode, we travel, we probably have 2 days to prepare for the next game, and that's it. Now, to completely get your philosophy in, it's going to be a struggle for me.
Well, that's where he earns his keep. And the big question is, can he prove his detractors wrong? He's got 2 in the studio, namely Barry Manandi and Simba Fupajena. And so he's going to have to win those over by the way the team plays when we take on the African champions Algeria back to back. I, for one, am certainly giving him the benefit of the doubt. I'm excited about the things that he's talking about. I am excited about the philosophy that he says he will instill in the players. But the big question that is being asked by Barry and Simba is, will he be able to, and does he have enough time? This is ZiFM Sport on a Friday. Bang exciting, and it's about to get better. We give you a local sports news roundup, we go international, and then of course in the second half of the show, it's the beautiful game where there's a big game in Italy. It's Inter taking on Lazio.
Hi, I'm Warriors coach Zdravko Logarušić, and you are listening to ZiFM Sport.
Sports with a difference.
Let's give you a quick local sports news update, starting with boxing. Charles Manucci would have loved to defend the World Boxing Federation middleweight crown in Chivu, but he will have to defend his belt at the City Sports Center in Harare. The former World Boxing Council silver welterweight champion is scheduled to fight Mohamed Sebiala of Ghana in his bid to retain the WBF belt on the 3rd of April. Having staged 2 of his last home matches in Harare, Manucci had hoped to face the highly rated Ghanaian in Chivu. Over to cricket news now. For the first time in more than 2 decades, Zimbabwe cricket will host 2 English county sides, Derbyshire and Durham, in a development that signals normalization of relations between England and Zimbabwe cricket. England has not toured Zimbabwe since 2004, while Zimbabwe last visited the United Kingdom in 2003 before the England Cricket Board, the ECB, officially cut ties with Zimbabwe cricket in 2008. With Scotland also set to tour Zimbabwe in the next few months, the developments point towards England finally working on lifting its cricket sanctions on Zimbabwe. We wrap it up with sports governance issues, where sports scribes from the southern region have called on authorities to hand custodial sentences on teachers and sports administrators caught engaging in age cheating during any sporting competitions in the country. The media practitioner said age cheating was tantamount to corruption, as it gave an unfair advantage to those taking part in the act, while also denying talented youngsters an opportunity to showcase their skills among their peers. With primary and secondary schools across the country engaged in athletics competitions, age cheating cases are the order of the day, with some schools and provinces perpetually engaged in the act.
From the front of the grid to the back of the net, it's ZiFM Sport. International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play. Whether it's the NBA or NFL, the best of America on ZiFM Sport.
Right now, the 2020 NBA All-Star Game will be a showcase of the sport's established superstars led by LeBron James and Giannis Antetokounmpo, who are the two captains for arguably the biggest exhibition game in the world. Tip-off for the game is at 8 p.m. on Sunday night in Chicago, which is early Monday morning at 3 a.m. for Zimbabwe fans. The All-Star Game also serves a larger stage for the NBA's young breakout stars to showcase themselves to a broader audience. Atlanta Hawks guard Trae Young is one of the first-time All-Stars participating in the game, and he is one of three who were voted in as starters. Now let's hear from the captains, and LeBron James says he is satisfied with his team after he picked Lakers teammate Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, and Luka Doncic in the starting lineup.
Yeah, I have no assets. I have nothing. I am completely excited and happy with my team. I mean, you know, there's some guys that you want to play with that guy, and be around him for the weekend. Some of them is our teammates. Obviously, you see me pick AD and Giannis taking Chris. Some of it is, you want to win as well. So you know how those guys play when you compete against them. So a lot of factors goes into it. But at the end of the day, like Chuck has been saying, man, there's no wrong choice. I mean, we're all all-stars. They're all all-stars for a reason. So, just happy to be a part of it.
Z.
Now, Trae Young was a draft pick of Giannis Antetokounmpo's, and he will start alongside Kemba Walker, Pascal Siakam, and Joel Embiid. Let's hear from the other captain, Giannis Antetokounmpo, who says he wants his side to win the game.
No trade. I'm really happy with my team also. I think we have great guys. They're going to play hard and we're going to get a win. You cannot go wrong. They are the 24 best players in the world. Obviously, you want to pick guys that are going to have fun with you, guys that are going to go out there and play hard. And as I said, have fun in the locker room. And just obviously I picked Chris Middleton because I want to go through the experience with him because my teammate. But at the end of the day, you can't go wrong. They're all great players, they're all great guys, and hopefully we can all have fun this weekend.
Z.
All right, the All-Star Game is always a big-ticket item, and this time King James versus the Greek Freak. For me, looking like the teams in terms of what we see on paper, Team LeBron is a heavy team, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. I've lost interest, to be honest, since this new format came up. Listen, I love tradition, and I believe that the East, I think, was always their seasons like this. You go periods where one conference will dominate.
Will be stronger.
No one is complaining when the Eastern Conference was dominating during the Jordan era. No one is complaining, and so consequently as well, I know that the West, it was now a bit lopsided in terms of the talent and the ability that they had. But I still believe they should have stuck to the old format. East versus West.
Yeah.
Because I take a look at the East right now, whilst it's not as great as the West, I do believe that in terms of putting out a starting five, I believe that the East can throw up a starting five that can match the West now.
The West, and
they can.
And this format sort of favors LeBron in the sense that his picks have come out to be some of the stellar talent that is on courts all over the NBA. And you look at the result last year, Team LeBron beating Team Giannis 178-64. You can't see past Team LeBron based on just the starting five.
Excellently put, but I put it back into the Greek Freaks court, so to speak. Okay. Because the way I understand this format,
pun intended,
it's exactly how it used to be. Was like everyone is lined up. You've got your top 20 or 22 that have been chosen by the fans.
Okay.
And you just go, you pick, I pick, you pick, I pick. So how Giannis has allowed that five
to come together?
Because he's chosen to be loyal to his conference. That's what he's done.
And that's where the issue is for me. I think LeBron has got star power, whichever conference it is. Obviously started with AD because obviously club loyalties and all that. And then the rest of it has just been preparing the star quality. And these are people that are also, if it's about minutes or whatever, at any point you can leave 2 or 3 of them to close off the match as well. So for me, that's where I'm looking at. I looked at it and I thought, Was he not there? Did someone pick for him? Was it a lotto pick?
I also think that, as Mike quite rightly points out, sort of the character of the captains comes out as well.
True.
LeBron is a win at all costs. I'm
Yes.
going for it. Whereas Giannis is more your loyalty. He's your boy next door, really.
He's a buddy.
And so he's stuck almost to the conference. So that's how that has come out. There are lots of other festivities as well that go along with All-Star Weekend. There's of course the celebrity game, and the home team will be coached by ESPN's Michael Wilburn, a Chicago native and captained by rapper Common. The away squad will be led by coach Stephen A. Smith of ESPN and captain rapper Chance the Rapper. The away team also has Chance the rapper's brother, Taylor Bennett, who is also a Chicago-born rapper. So it's lots to look forward to. All-Star Weekend is always a hot ticket. I have no doubt there'll be lots of Kobe Bryant tributes throughout this weekend.
Hi, my name is Luke Bahamute, Los Angeles Clippers small forward, and you're listening to ZiFM Sport.
Around the world in 60 seconds. International sports news.
We take off in the United States of America, where Matt Kuchar was in a class of his own on the first day of the Genesis Invitational as Rory McIlroy enjoyed an encouraging opener. Kuchar's 7 under 64 was 3 shots better than anyone else could manage in the first round as he upstaged a stellar field featuring 9 of the world's top 10 in the final event of the West Coast Swing. Over to England, where Mercedes have launched the car on which their hopes of maintaining the unprecedented sequence of Formula One success in 2020 rests. The first images of W11 decked out in the revised livery, which was first revealed earlier this week, was revealed online ahead of the car's track debut at Silverstone. Mercedes have won all 12 of Formula One's world titles since the current hybrid turbo engines were introduced to Formula One in 2014. But last year's W10 did possess some flaws, while perennial rivals Ferrari and Red Bull are pushing to dethrone them this year. We touched down in Australia, where the Melbourne Rebels beat the Waratahs in their All-Australian Super Rugby clash played in the rain in Melbourne this morning. The Rebels, who were ultimately worthy winners, ran out 24-10 victors after leading 8-3 at half-time. In New Zealand, the Crusaders returned to winning ways with a clinical 25-8 victory over the Blues at Eden Park, extending their winning streak over the host to 11 matches. The rest of your Super Rugby weekend fixtures look like this. The Sunwolves will take on the Chiefs. That's early tomorrow morning, followed by the Hurricanes and the Sharks going at it in Wellington. Brumbies versus Highlanders, Lions versus Stormers, and the action will be completed at midnight when the Jaguares entertain the Queensland Reds in Argentina.
The Daily Sports Trivia question is brought to you by Perlenta Nutri-Active Instant Porridge. Kickstart your day.
And on the line, we've got Pardon out in Zimri Park. Oh, we've lost Pardon.
Pardon.
Shucks. Pardon the interruption.
Well, with all these rains, Barry, it's been a bit nippy out there. It's been a bit chilly. Porridge then suddenly becomes a 24-hour meal.
It really does.
I can attest to that.
You're going to test to that?
Are you one of those who like all-day breakfast type thing? Yeah, you love
any time of the day.
Well, this one, guys, is absolutely fantastic. And more so if you're very active and if you're a sports person, if you wake up early and you head out to the gym, or if you're a footballer, or if you're anyone in any training regime, because I tell you, it's very easy to make. 5 minutes and you are done. I mean, 5 minutes to make it and eat it. Okay, all you need to do, snap open the packet, pour some into your bowl, simply mix it with warm milk or water, and then you get to enjoy the goodness of a healthy, tasty porridge. Barry Manan, I know you're playing football tomorrow. You'll certainly be having this in the morning.
Certainly in the morning, I will be taking some Polenta Nutri-Active Instant Porridge. On the line, we've got Pardon from Zimri Park. Pardon, good evening to you, matey.
Yes, how are you? How are you doing, guys?
How's it going out in Zimri Park? Was it raining all day?
Yeah, it was raining. It's a bit chilly.
All right, it's a pretty bad connection. Let's ask you the questions quickly while we can still hear you. First question is, what is the Warriors coach Zdravko Logarušić's nickname? Is it A, the Croat, B, the Z-Man, or C, Loga?
I see Loga.
Well done, Pardon. All right. Pardon, second one for you. Name any one of the 2 captains in this weekend's NBA All-Star game. I just need one name, that's all. If you know, name any one of the two captains in this weekend's NBA All-Star game. We were talking about them a few minutes ago. Give me one. If you know NBA, you'll get at least one name.
Think of the biggest star
in the NBA.
That's Steph Curry. He's not playing. Okay. One of them plays for the LA Lakers.
For the Lakers, yeah.
And he's nicknamed the King.
And when you put his name after King, it becomes a version of the Bible. How's that clue, guys?
That is now taken straight off the field.
All right, looks like... sorry?
LeBron James.
LeBron James! You got there in the end, brother.
At the buzzer.
Congratulations from downtown. Well done, Pardon. All right, have a good evening, buddy. Keep tuned to the streets of the show. All right. All right, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
The Daily Sports Trivia question was brought to you by Perlenta Nutri-Active Instant Porridge. Kickstart your day. Fan Zone. Get in touch with the team and have your say your way.
Operator.
ZiFM Sport, the show that allows you to have your say your way on 0731 168 045. That's our WhatsApp platform, 0731 168 045. We're also on Twitter. Follow and interact with at ZiFM Sport.
Indeed. Stan in Buhera has got in touch. He says, I like the new Warriors coach. He talks sense. If Zifa comes on board, we will go far. Thanks for getting in touch, Stan. You obviously are a believer, just like Mike
Yes.
Madoda is. Hi, guys. I'm beginning to like this new coach Loga. He is saying all the right things. Give this guy a chance, and I believe Qatar 2022 tinoenda in Loga. I believe Mike in Bulawayo.
That's what I also believe. He needs to be given a chance. He needs to be given a fair crack at the whip. The things I'm mainly skeptical about is the support from Zifa. Is he going to get the institutional support that we know is key in African football qualification? And when I talk about institutional support, it's not just the Football Association. It has to be the entire nation. We've seen West African nations, North African nations, and even nations like Ethiopia. The government backs them to the hilt because they realize that it's an opportunity for the country to market itself, to showcase itself. When you qualify for the World Cup, there is no bigger advertising platform. You know, so instead of ZTA bringing these washed-up players, they can hardly kick a ball from Barcelona.
We take off.
Give money to the Warriors.
Give that money to the Warriors and get them to qualify for the World Cup.
100%. We got a lady who got in touch now, Deborah. She's out in Marlborough, and she says, well, hopefully the new coach will have the green grass to show the results on with the state of our stadium.
That's exactly what Mike is talking about.
Brilliant, Deborah. I love that.
Institutional support.
Yes, we need grass.
Can the city council that is in charge of Barber Fields, because that's the one stadium we should be talking about,
the philosophy to thrive.
Absolutely.
Exactly. All right. Tammy in Wulaya says, tactic has always been our great deficiency, especially at CAF tournaments. Let's give Loga a chance. He's saying the right things. So hopefully the right things he's saying, when he talks to the team also will begin to believe, and we can
I'll
get
tell
something
you what,
out
though,
of
I
this.
think listening to things like this, you get certain players that have been on the fringes and not necessarily coming down. They listen to this interview, if they haven't looked at anything else in the past, and they kind of start to believe, like Mike, that this is worth getting on the plane for, just to go and check it out.
Just to go and check it
absolutely.
out.
I think it's key. But I want to ask this, guys, just before we wrap up the fan zone, that surely I hope someone at Zifa right now is thinking about the national team having to camp in Bulawayo and preparing the environment in Bulawayo right now. They shouldn't be thinking Harare.
I hope so.
The players have got to fly into Bulawayo.
I hope so.
And that is where they need to stay, and that is the way they need to train.
I hope so. And look, stranger things have happened with Zifa, but now that we've dropped that seed, that breadcrumb, Zifa, come on, guys, do what needs to be done. Let the boys leave Joburg and fly straight into Bulawayo. There are flights that come straight into Bulawayo.
Absolutely.
They land there and they prepare there. They do everything there because that's where they will be playing.
Absolutely. This is ZiFM Sport, and the beautiful game comes up next.
The big leagues, the big teams, the big players. The beautiful game on ZiFM Sport. Horsepower unmatched. Torque to beat the best. Speed unrivaled. Sleek and easy on the eye. Let's get behind the wheel of football engineered to perfection. The Bundesliga, made in Germany.
Title challengers Borussia Dortmund to host 9th place Eintracht Frankfurt at the Westfalenstadion tonight as they look to get back to winning ways in the Bundesliga. Dortmund are coming off a 4-3 loss to Bayer Leverkusen that saw them throw away 2 leads throughout the 90 minutes. Now, sloppy defending, Barry, has been characteristic of Borussia Dortmund of late, meaning that they have lost matches they should have won. They've drawn matches that they should have won. In truth, if Borussia Dortmund could defend better, could just manage the ball a bit better in defense, they would have a handsome lead right now in the Bundesliga.
I know we don't like cliches on this show, but I'm going to use one. Defense wins youth championships, and there's no other truism that relates to Borussia Dortmund. And you can't ship goals if you're chasing a championship, because what you've just mentioned is exactly what happens. Because the marginal wins turn into draws, the draws turn into losses, because you are conceding a lot more than you're scoring. So for me, they need to fix that. Liverpool fixed it, and look at the results. Borussia Dortmund fixes it, they dominate in Germany.
They are not slouches in attack, though, and so they will be hoping that the attack can carry them over the line. You take a look at Haaland, the new signing. I mean, he scores goals for fun. You take a look at Jadon Sancho. He's able to score. He's able to assist. Marco Reus, I mean, a Rolls Royce of a player, and so many other players in the offensive stakes.
Yes, in the offensive stakes, absolutely nothing to detract from that. The problem is, like we said, if the defense continues to be jittery and porous, even when you seem to have a comfortable lead, they continue to believe, because they keep coming at you, because they know that there's always an opportunity. You need to start shutting that up and closing off matches. Otherwise, even when you get to the run-in, which is where they started to falter last season, if teams keep coming up, relegation fight, looking for a place in Europe, then you've got that mix of matches that actually means something, and you're failing to close it off, then your chances are just blown away.
Well, they're up against an Eintracht Frankfurt side who will be no slouches. There'll be no pushovers tonight. They come in near untouchable form at the moment, winning 4 and drawing 1 of their last 5, only conceding 3 goals along that way. In that 5-game stretch, they have actually accounted of Leipzig twice and thrashed Augsburg 5-0 in their last match. They are in black country when they take on Borussia Dortmund in Bundesliga action tonight. Other matches that you can look forward to: Leipzig will take on Werder Bremen, Augsburg versus Freiburg, Hoffenheim versus Wolfsburg, Paderborn will entertain Hertha Berlin, Union Berlin host Bayer Leverkusen, Fortuna Düsseldorf versus Borussia Mönchengladbach, FC Cologne versus Bayern Munich, and Mainz will take on Schalke 04.
The league that makes football oh so beautiful, where artistry and strokes of genius are the order of any day, where the game is played with a smile and the little master creates his magic.
Lionel Messi!
All the news from the Spanish La Liga on ZiFM Sport.
The goal the world wanted!
Right now, Barcelona will continue their pursuit of La Liga leaders Real Madrid when they welcome high-flying Getafe to the Camp Nou tomorrow afternoon. The Catalan Giants will be looking for their 3rd straight league victory, but in inform, Getafe have won each of their last 4 in Spain's top flight to rise into 3rd position in the table. And with the news of attackers breaking down at the rate of knots at Barcelona, it's not the news that they wanted. So with an informed Getafe headed their way, they will be hoping that the little master has got to carry the team.
Yes, but for how long? I think it's a given that he's going to carry the team.
Sure.
I mean, he's Lionel Messi. At any point, he can turn on the magic and keep doing it. Whether the rest of the teammates back him, because he's not going to be the one that's going to be shutting it out at the end. He's going to be the one that's going to be providing the attackers, attacking himself. Unfortunately, if he comes up against a really spirited Getafe, because in those last 4 matches that you alluded to, 0 goals conceded.
Right.
So it's one of those, if they catch them on the break and then starts to panic, I think there's a loss of confidence that's beginning to happen. However, if the same Barcelona that played the last few matches continues on its trajectory now, then Getafe might actually start to find that they've played them at maybe the wrong time.
And the same Barcelona that played the last few matches, Mike, didn't get the results, but the performance was certainly there for all to see. Yes, we know that Ousmane Dembele has been broken down for the rest of the season and actually is going to miss out on the Euro Championships. But you got to think to yourself that it's a Barcelona team that under Quique Setien seems to be headed back to the Barcelona way.
Yeah, make no mistake about it. Barcelona will be favourites in this match. They've got the better players. They've got a better playing staff. They are far much stronger. It all comes down to if they can cut out the mistakes at the back.
Sure.
We have seen Setien chop and change his defensive partnership. He's picked Samuel Umtiti next to Gerard Piqué. He's picked Piqué next to Longley. He's picked Longley next to Umtiti. And all three combinations have not sort of like yielded the defensive solidity that he's been seeking. So I think that is key for me. He needs to settle on a defensive combination and stick to it. In the last game, we saw Jordi Alba have to come off the bench.
Yeah.
We have also seen a change as well at right back, where the Spanish fullback, what's his name again? Semedo has been swapping with Sergio Roberto in that position. So for me, at the back, you need to settle on a defensive four, and those four need to be playing. They've got a great goalkeeper, and I expect Barcelona, if they bring their A game, they should be too strong for Getafe. They should win this one.
You are the La Liga fixtures are Valencia host Atletico Madrid. Mallorca will take on Alaves. Villarreal versus Levante. It's Granada who will host Real Valladolid, while Sevilla take on Espanyol. Leganes versus Real Betis. Aiba will take on Real Sociedad, while the Athletic Club of Bilbao will host Osasuna. Real Madrid will take on Celta Vigo, and as we said earlier, Barcelona host Getafe.
The Nerazzurri, the Black and Blues, Inter Milan.
It's Romelu Lukaku, and it was never in doubt. He's a beast at the best of times, but this season he has become a monster.
The Giallorossi, the Yellow and Reds, AS Roma.
Belotti has a go! Tremendous hits! That's what he's capable of.
La Viola, the Purple Ones, Fiorentina.
Franck Ribéry seals a glorious win for Fiorentina with a sumptuous goal at San Siro.
The Bianconeri, the Black and Whites, Juventus.
Ronaldo seals yet another 3 points for Juventus.
Tough yet colourful. The best of Italian football on Z.
Now, last night, a controversial late Cristiano Ronaldo penalty gave Juventus a 1-1 draw in their Coppa Italia semi-final clash against 10-men AC Milan, cancelling out Ante Rebic's sliding finish in the first leg. In this weekend's action, Romelu Lukaku can stake a claim to ruling all of Serie A this weekend when league-leading Inter Milan visit third place Lazio on Sunday in a game that also pits two of Serie A's top forwards against each other. The game promises to have a huge bearing on the title race, as Inter sit in first place with 54 points while Lazio are third with 1 point less. Now, Italian football expert Gabriele Marcotti says the clash between Lazio and Inter has massive implications on which team will capture the Scudetto.
And the stakes are just so high, just a 1 point separating these two teams in the table. Inter with their noses in front right now, but Lazio have just been on such a tremendous run. It's been months since they actually lost in Serie A, and they haven't dropped points that often in that run, which is why Simone Inzaghi is kind of the story of the year among Serie A managers. And we might even see, possibly, Lazio go all out and play this Caicedo Immobile up front. Inter, for their part, the feel-good factor after that tremendous comeback against Milan in the derby, that 4-2 victory, that's still going strong. That really hasn't been affected much by their not-so-good performance against Napoli midweek in the Coppa Italia. Lautaro Martinez back from suspension in Serie A. That's obviously huge up front. Christian Eriksen could find his way into the starting lineup as well. The only real question mark is in goal. Handanovic still hasn't fully recovered from the injury to his finger. He's going to be a game time decision. Otherwise, Padelli steps in between the stick, and you don't need me to tell you that Inter are nowhere near as good a team with Daniele Padelli in goal as opposed to Samir Handanovic.
Right, that is Gabriel Makotti talking, of course, of the importance of this clash. It's second versus third, Barry. And Juventus will be keeping an eye on this game, because if it's a draw, that's an excellent result for Juventus.
Yeah.
If Inter lose, that's an even better result, because Inter is the team at the top.
Exactly, and you got to think to yourself that Juventus will be hoping that Lazio can continue with their phenomenal form that they've had in the last few games, where they have been getting, and it's not grinding out results. They're playing fantastic football and getting the results that they need. So it's a tasty encounter for sure.
Last three matches, Lazio have edged it. They've won two of the last three. So they're not going to be pushovers, and they also have the league's top marksman in Ciro Immobile in their ranks.
Yes, I think, and they've mentioned that it's pitting the two of the leading goal scorers in Lukaku and Ciro Immobile. I think when you look at the roster that Inter Milan has, I get where you guys are saying that Juve would rather have Lazio winning this.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to be chased, we're going to be chasing down one of these two teams, you'd rather have it as Lazio.
Yes.
You don't want Inter Milan to be the one that is actually opening or still in touching distance.
Correct.
Yeah, and
yes, I get it, but are we also underselling the potential of Lazio then continuing this, or was it a flash in the pan?
No, I think Lazio will be competitive, but you also have to take a look at the squad depth. And the one thing that Inter and Juventus have is squad depth. They've got they can make changes. If Ciro Immobile gets injured, for example, Lazio are in all sorts of trouble. Whereas, if your Lukaku gets injured, they've got options at Inter Milan. He steps into the breach. So it's very interesting. Key fixtures in Serie A involve Atalanta versus Roma. Juventus will take on Brescia, and AC Milan will take on Torino.
All right. In England, in the Premier League, Arsenal welcome Newcastle United to the Emirates Stadium this weekend, knowing their top half status is under threat. My goodness, how the mighty have fallen. They're fighting for top half.
And we actually say top half status.
Credit to Sean for putting this story, because as an Arsenal fan, I don't think it was easy for our producer.
He's gone hiding. He's in the corner with his hoodie up. There are plenty of good noises coming out of the Gunners since Mikel Arteta's appointment, but the results have not improved, with Newcastle the form team and level on points heading into this game. Let me run through the fixtures and get the thoughts of the in-studio team. Wolves will take on Leicester, Southampton versus Burnley. Bottom of the table, Norwich will host Liverpool, while Aston Villa takes on Spurs. Arsenal versus Newcastle, as we said earlier. Arsenal, you got to think to yourself, you can see what Arteta's trying to do, but for some reason the results just aren't coming.
Guys, it's a mid-table clash. And I think when you mentioned that Steve Bruce is the one that's actually going into this form, he's caught up and all sorts of things. It's good that the philosophy seems to be getting them somewhere, but unfortunately at the end of the day it's about points on the board, and he hasn't gotten enough.
And for me, I don't think he's got the material. I think he's still sort of like 3 players short in critical positions. I think you need a dominant centre half.
Yes.
Pretty much, listen, he's trying to turn Arsenal into City.
Yes.
If you look at what City does, that's what Arteta is trying to do.
Yeah.
Okay, his philosophy is not going to be very different from his mentor, Pep Guardiola's.
Yeah, 100%. And it'll come off. He's got a transfer window coming up at the end of the season. He's got to try and retain his top half status while he does that. Why are you laughing?
Be nice.
We'll be back on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody. May God richly bless you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And Andy, out.